Okay, the story about the saxophone is I got the saxophone about 1989, and it was due to a misfortune. I had very foolishly, left my tenor in the trunk of my car in Chinatown. And I ran in, it was around this time of year too, it was around Christmas time. And I ran into a Chinese restaurant to get a bowl of soup because I hadn't eaten. I came back, I jumped in the car, I rode all the way back home. I opened the trunk and the tenor was gone. Evidently somebody got in the car with a Slim Jim. And there was no sign of breakage, but the tenor was gone. So now to get a new tenor, you know. So it's funny how like the grapevine starts buzzing, and some people knew that I lost my tenor, and I got a call from this old saxophone player I knew who lived in Bedford-Stuyvesant. His name was Cole Hopkins. And he said he knows this guy, and I can't think of the guy's name. I almost said his name too. He says this guy sells tenors. He sells gold-plated Selmer Mark 6 tenors. And you get a good price because he has an overload on them. And, you know, this might be a good opportunity. So I called the guy up. He happened to be a corrections officer. And he lived on Pennsylvania Avenue, and he said that he was having his house renovated, and that somebody had broken in and stolen some tenors, or this at least was his story, and that he took all the remaining tenor saxophones and brought them to a pawn shop on 8th Avenue, and all the horns that he had were in this pawn shop on 8th Avenue, and to meet him down there the next day with $1,000. Now, $1,000 for a Selmer saxophone, even then, was at least a third of the price. And for it to be gold-plated, you're talking about a tenth of the price, a fifth of the price. So, a friend of mine who was a police officer, retired inspector, assistant inspector or something, I called him up and he said, all right, he says, I'll come down just to make sure this is on the level. He says, I'll bring my service revolver in case we're going to try to get ripped off. But anyway, we went down to 8th Avenue, we went into the hock shop, and the guy in the hock shop was very short with us because it was Christmas time, people were buying and selling things, he was very busy. And I think the guy's name was Tyler, I almost said it. The guy said, Tyler, he says, I can only let you take out 3 horns. So he went in and he brought out the 3 horns, and we looked at them, and this one looked pretty good, you know. It looked nice, and it sure enough was gold-plated. And I said, okay, great, this one. And I gave the guy the $1,000, and I went home. And, you know, it needed a little work. It was out of adjustment. And I started bringing it to people, you know, to fix it up. And everybody looked at it kind of strange because there were some characteristics of it, if you know saxophones, which I don't think everybody does. This little stack here was not a Mark 6 stack, the stack of keys here. It was like a Mark 7. That was a later one. But it was marked on the horn, Mark 6. And there were some things on it that looked like a Mark 7. And when we checked the serial number was legit, but it was a very late Mark 6. So nobody could really figure out what this is. Is it a 6? Is it a 7? Is it a cannibal horn? In other words, is there parts from one horn and parts from another horn and parts from, did somebody take a horn that might have been trashed and taken out the good pieces and put them together to make one horn? Or was it a counterfeit? Was it really, honestly, truly a counterfeit? It's still a mystery horn, but you want to know the truth, it sounds really good. It plays very much in tune. It has a really nice sound. And I guess, you know, the gold, the fact that it's gold, the gold is starting to come off now a little bit because what they have to do is they have to silver plate it first and then electroplate, I think that's the word they use, put the gold on top of the silver because the gold won't adhere to brass. So it's brass, then it's silver, and then it's gold. And it's really heavy. Everybody that picks it up says, wow, man, this is a heavy horn. And that's because of the additional metal. Now, usually additional metal kind of darkens a horn, and I guess it is dark a little bit. But whatever it is, I kind of like it, and I'm always tempted to say, well, gee, maybe I ought to get a real, honest-to-goodness Mark VI, because they are the Stradivarius of saxophones. And then I say, gee, this thing sounds so good, I don't know if I would want to get a Mark VI. I would want to change horns, you know. So that's the mystery horn. That's the story of the mystery horn. And I've had it to about 4 different repairmen, and every repairman had a different story. Somebody said that it's a counterfeit, it's not a real Selma. Then somebody else said, no, it's definitely real Selma because, and they'd point out some technical things. And then somebody would say, well, maybe it was a prototype of the Mark VII that was marked up as a Mark VI. Then somebody said, like I said earlier, maybe it's a cannibalized horn. Maybe some parts of it are a 6, some parts of it are a 7, and some parts of it are who knows what. But for better or worse, I've been playing it now since '98, so is that, or 89 I should say. So is that 25 years or 26 years? So I guess it's proven itself by now. I've done a few recording dates on it, and nobody complains about it. And I've listened to playbacks, and it always sounds pretty good. So whatever it is, I'm sticking with it.